In April 2016, Michelle McNamara, a true crime author and investigative journalist, passed away unexpectedly in her sleep. She left behind a daughter, a husband, and a mystery. Michelle has been investigating the horrific crimes of the Golden State Killer, a burglar, rapist, and murderer who was terrorizing California in the 70s and 80s. At the time, his identity was unknown, and with Michelle's death, it seems like the chance of catching him died as well. Until a friend and colleague, Billy Jensen, decided that Michelle's death will not be the death of her work. A fellow journalist, Jensen decided to pick up where the police and Michelle left off, and while at it, use his talent as a journalist and write a book about it. We follow Billy as he tries to help bring criminals to justice, help families get closure, and put names to many killers, among them the elusive Golden State Killer, and continue Michelle McNamara's legacy. In this book, he lets us into his world and invites us to chase darkness with him. Hey bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another review. This time I will discuss Chase Darkness With Me by Billy Jensen, one of the few non-fiction books that I've read and reviewed. This is a true crime book. All I said in the intro is real, not a plot from a novel. Michelle McNamara was a real person. She died accidentally by an overdose of prescription drugs, and she wrote a book called I'll Be Gone in the Dark about the Golden State Killer, who also was a very real person and still is. Spoiler alert, he was caught many years after committing his crimes, and unfortunately, he is still alive, but Michelle is not. What a world. So I've been interested in true crime for forever now. I was always fascinated by riddles and mysteries, and ever since I discovered Agatha Christie more than 20 years ago, I love detective books and thrillers. And let me pause here and make the obvious remark that it is one thing to be entertained by murder when it happens in a book, and a completely different thing to hear the true story of real people who suffered greatly due to the actions of some sick individuals. Unfortunately, one of the side effects of true crime becoming a huge YouTube genre is the fact that we do experience it as entertainment. And I do watch these true crime videos, I follow many YouTubers who do them, but I do urge you to remember that we are talking about real people and to offer your support by watch time and video engagement only to those you feel respect the victims and don't just try to make a buck of a popular genre that exploits people's pain. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Let's get back into the book. As mentioned, Billy Jensen is a real crime journalist turned crime solver, and this book is a glimpse into the world of investigative journalism. And it is so good, so interesting. If you've been following my track record, you know that I'm not a huge fan of nonfiction, and one issue that these books have is keeping the interest level. In a novel, you can invent what happens. You choose to create compelling characters, but you can't do this in nonfiction. You can only rely on interesting editing and good writing, and this book has it. It was beyond fascinating. I listened to it as an audiobook, narrated, by the way, by Billy Jensen himself, and I couldn't get enough of it. I even heard the entire epilogue, where he tells the listener how they can help the police solve crimes. This book, in its core, is a celebration of the regular person and our ability as a society to help bring criminals to justice. It's going to sound strange, but this book about crimes and murders is an uplifting one. Michelle McNamara left behind a legacy of not letting the fact that you don't have a badge stop you from trying to help. Now, this isn't about vigilantism. I don't condone vigilantism, and I generally think it's a bad idea. What his book is about, however, is helping law enforcement. It's about how with a click of a share button on Facebook, you can bring a photo to the attention to this one person who can recognize that tattoo or that car. I love the respect Jensen has to armchair detectives and the acknowledgement to their brains and capabilities. Just a reminder that the first Zodiac Code was solved by regular school teachers who saw it in the news. I also have to mention this amazing feeling I got whenever Jensen told about a crime he worked on being solved. He almost has this childlike excitement about them. The fact that he helped to solve a crime and give a family closure is heartwarming. And at the end, when he tells of the actual capture of the Golden State Killer, despite me knowing full well prior to reading this book that he was caught, who he was, how he was caught, etc., that did not matter. It was so exciting. I had goosebumps. Speaking about the Golden State Killer, I do need to mention that this book isn't exclusively about him. It starts and ends with him, but most of the book follows Jensen as he decides to get into different cases and how he approaches solving them, which is so fascinating. It's a glimpse into the process of solving crimes. For example, there is a bit where he looks at a surveillance video of a crime and the criminal is wearing a mask. And Jensen looks at different aspects and trying to reach conclusion about the age of the criminal and how to try and track the mask that he was wearing. It was so interesting. So to conclude, if you are even vaguely interested in true crime and the process of how people solve a case, this book is a must. It's brilliantly written, it is so interesting, and again, it pays tribute to people who want to do whatever it takes to solve a crime. Not for money, not for fame nor praises, but for justice, closure, and safety. And mostly, tribute to one woman who unfortunately died before she could see how her book, which I haven't read yet, helped catch a sadistic, evil man and put him behind bars where he can't hurt anybody else. So bookworms, that was my review on the excellent Chase Darkness with Me. Thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and write me a comment telling me about your relationship with true crime. And if you want my recommendation regarding YouTube true crime, I do watch a lot of them, but if I can think of one channel that really carries Michelle's and Billy's legacy, it is Crime Weekly by the fantastic Stephanie Harlow and her partner in crime, Derek Levasseur, who not only talk about cases with respect and the perspective of a former police officer, but also have their own coffee company whose revenue is used to fund DNA tests for unsolved crimes and other things that may help police finally put faces and names to John Does as well as unknown assailants. So if you want to contribute your watch time to someone who make their money from talking about these cases but doesn't treat them as fun entertainment, this is where I would put my time and effort. So guys, thanks again for watching, and remember, if you see something, say something, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.